I wondered if I was cursed or something. Why would I also have bad luck concerning things like this? Mascot, who I thought was a friend, was messing with me already, trying to make me lose the trust I had built. Now, Lucas was back again. I didn't know why he was here, but I knew he wasn't here all the way from Ice-crest to joke around. "What are you doing here?" My eyeballs were about to fall from my eyes. "I came to visit my little cousin, or I remember, you not my cousin, you don't even have a father." He scoffed. I was rattled. Anyone could see that. "You don't have to be afraid. I'm not here for you. Have you forgotten that I'm the Lord of all? I go everywhere and anywhere." I didn't believe him. Truly, he went whenever and wherever he wanted, but how did he know he would be here? Woo. The wind blew again, and I cowered in the cold. It wasn't winter, so I wondered where the cold was coming. I wished I had come out with my sweater to prevent the cold, but that was not my major problem at the moment. A cold greater than the one I felt was standing in my presence, observing me. "It seems your new clan finds you a nuisance?" He asked me with his husky voice smoothly, trying to talk me down. I was used to bad-mouthing, but I wasn't going to take it. "Whatever it is, doesn't concern you. Just leave. Go back to where you came from," I responded. "I can't leave you," he said, and I felt goosebumps all around my body. "You look like I'm going to kill you. You don't have to worry." I wanted to walk away, but how could I turn away from the man who threatened my life when I was at the Ice-crest clan? This was supposed to be a new beginning for me, so I wondered what was happening. Was I doing something wrong? "Don't worry, I'll protect you." He smiled at me. "I don't need your protection." I left immediately as I kept watching my back. He didn't come after me, he just stared at me as I walked as fast as I could away from him. I went into my chambers, locked all doors and windows. I was breathing heavily as I got to my chambers. When I had finally locked myself in, I decided to rest, but how could I close my eyes when a dangerous man was here? I imagined if my mother and sisters, even Alpha King Magnus, knew he was here. My mother would be totally scared for me. Maybe I should just go back home. I thought out loud. Seeing how frustrated I have been since I left the palace, I felt that maybe the moon goddess was not on my side. If truly she was, she wouldn't let my efforts go to waste. My mother would be so glad to see me. The girl, too. Maybe it was my destiny to get married to Lucas after all. My thoughts kept going far and wide, and my head ached. For a moment, I closed my eyes and imagined what it would be like to be married to Lucas, an old man. I wouldn't have a say in anything, and I would be alone, since he didn't want children. How pathetic a life would I live? I would die a lonely death if I ever followed that path. Again, for the second time, I chose to fight rather than give up. I chose to have a good, pleasant, extraordinary life rather than an average one. I will never marry Lucas, no matter the fight he brings. I comforted myself. I was my only comfort, so I did my job well. I wasn't scared of Lucas anymore. I wasn't that 8-year-old girl. He scared away with his scary face. I was a grown lady who knew what she wanted out of life, and I was going to get it. The next morning, I woke up very early, even though I didn't get so much sleep. I took my training seriously, but from now on I'm going to take it to another level. I started with a morning jog, then progressed into a run. Later on, I joined the other for our daily training. As we kept going, I didn't see Lucas. I knew he hadn't left, at least not yet, but where would he be? Immediately I was done with the training, I saw his face again. He moved towards me with so much haste. At first, I wanted to shout for help, but I remembered that I was a warrior myself, so I prepared to throw him off if he made advances. "Don't worry, I won't fight you," he commented, looking at me from up to down. "Good morning." I couldn't respond to his greeting, so I looked at him with glaring eyes. I was so ready to attack him if he laid his 50 hands on me. "You said last night that you're not here for me, so what do you want?" I asked. I was sweating profusely and wasn't comfortable anymore in my training suit. "Aren't you curious how I found you, or rather how I found this beautiful place? I don't have time for hide and seek, so talk now." I ordered him, and he was surprised at how I reacted. You have some guts now, that's nice." He chimed in, but I didn't say a word. "Well, the moon goddess led me here. We are meant to be after all." He smiled widely as his teeth showed. "Aren't you tired of stalking me?" I mean, we aren't meant for each other. You are way too old for me. Stay in your lane, Lucas. Stay in your lane. Leave me the hell alone. I screamed. Everyone watched and wondered why I was screaming. They must be thinking that I was crazy. Who wouldn't be crazy with the problem I have encountered? It was all too much for me. I wanted to cry, but I would never let Lucas see me in tears. That would never happen. I see you both have finally met. It was an all too familiar voice that I didn't even need to turn to realize who it was. Yes, we have. Lucas responded to him. You both know each other? I blurted out. They both glare at each other and then burst out laughing. What's going on here? I asked them both, but I got no reply. Just two ugly faces glaring at me. You're shocked, right? They laughed in my face. Well, if you must know, we are in this together. This is a plot by you both? Actually, it was my plan. He promised to help me. Lucas jeered with a grin, his teeth bared at me. I glanced at Mascot, and I could see he was uncomfortable about what Lucas said. I wanted to know more, so I kept asking questions that could trigger that effect on him. So this was all you're doing? I asked Lucas. Yeah, surprised? Actually, I am. It was just a pity that I thought that Mascot was man enough to plot all this by himself. I stole a glance at Mascot. I did most of the work. Mascot chimed in. Yeah, but I planned everything, Lucas retorted. For a second, I knew they weren't on such good terms. One thing I knew about men like Mascot and Lucas is that none of them wanted to be looked down at. They all wanted to be masters and not servants. I was truly scared when I saw they had joined hands together against me, but now I knew their weakness and I must fight them using their weakness. I was curious, though, if all this was a plot against me, so I could lose my alliance with people I made friends with, does it mean that Mascot was not actually in love with me? Was it all in the plot? I needed answers, and I knew I had to find a way to get those answers. Pathetic. That is the only word to describe you both. I spat out. You can call me pathetic if you want. I'm only here to get what belongs to me. Nothing belongs to you. Nothing I have belongs to you, I retorted, screaming almost. I didn't want to draw the attention of people around me, so I needed to be smart. You're so oblivious, so naive. You're just like that 8-year-old child that was accepted in the place 13 years ago. Lucas threw the words at me like I was being warned. Watch your back. This was not the first time I had felt threatened. The first time I came into the palace, I felt threatened. The first time I went to school at Ice-crest Clan, I felt threatened. All my life, I have always felt threatened. But this time was different. I didn't just feel it, it was real. I could see the man who was threatening me. I was currently looking deep to his eyes. It was all real. You can't do anything to me. I will never let you lay your hands on my father's inheritance, I said and turned my back. I didn't know if that was what he wanted, but I guessed that was why he was after me in the first place. Watch your back, Mascot screamed after me. They had thought that I left, but I waited behind the chambers where we stood and I could hear them whispering. What was that all about? Mascot asked, approaching Lucas. You know that everything we've done so far was all me. You didn't do much. I came up with the plan, Lucas said, not batting an eyelid. I was worried when I heard this. How much does Lucas know? Mascot had once followed me to Shadowcrest, my father's clan. That meant that Lucas would have also heard about it too, and would be going there to see for himself. You did, but I did all of the work, Mascot replied. I smiled. That was their weakness. Both men were proud and always wanted credit for work they did. I just found out what I would use to turn them against each other. If I could get them to turn against each other, then I could get Mascot on my side again. That's not important. When are you leaving for Shadowcrest? Mascot asked. That was when I knew Mascot had intentionally followed me on my way to Shadowcrest. Was our first meeting a plot too? I wondered. I was getting shattered and heartbroken as I made sense of the whole situation. I really thought I had made a good friend, unknown to me, that it wasn't from the moon goddess, just as I thought. Soon. I need to be ready. I hear that the clan is superstitious and can find out if a person is truly genuine or what. I have to put certain measures in place so I won't get caught, he replied, and I heaved a sigh of relief. My father's clan was still very much respected and feared. I believed that with this little time, I would go warn them about Lucas. I hope our deal is still in place, It was Mascot now asking Lucas. Yes, he responded, if you keep to your own side of the deal. That's fine. I couldn't see or hear them when they left, but suddenly I wasn't hearing anyone, so I decided to run back to my tent. This time around, I needed people on my side. I couldn't do this on my own since my life was in danger. As I walked back to my tent, I changed my mind. I turned sharply to go pay the Alpha a quick visit. I had a deal to make, and quickly too. He was surprised to see me, but he welcomed me nevertheless. He had really grown to be the father. I never had anyone like him who genuinely cared for me. I know you're surprised to see me here, but I have to talk to you. It's very urgent. You can speak to me any time and day you feel so, he said to me. He didn't know it, but it was the most soothing thing anyone had ever told her. I'm really grateful for you. I took a deep breath, paused, and continued. I'm going to be very honest with you, my lord. I know Mascot is your trusted hunter, but he is currently working with a dangerous man against me. You don't have to believe me. I'll show you the proof. He nodded, trying to assimilate everything I had said. My life is currently in danger, so I decided to come to you and talk to you about the situation at hand. I need you to be on my side and protect me when things get hard. You're a member of this pack, and so you are rightly going to be protected, but this allegation is also against a full member of the pack, so we can't really take your word for it. He answered me. I understood very well what he was trying to say. Just like the last time Mascot came to him with allegations about me, that was the same thing I was doing. I had to provide the proof so he could believe me, at least. He was trying to be fair and not supportive of anyone except with proof. I understand that, but I want you to also give me a chance to prove it to you. I replied him. Just come to the river tomorrow evening, and you'll hear from his own mouth all the plot he has made against me. I was firm in my decision to disgrace Mascot in front of the Alpha. He nodded in agreement and dismissed me. I was grateful for the chance to speak to him. My next two big goals was to first prove to Laura and the Alpha all of Mascot's plan, and then to warn Shadowcrest of Lucas's evil plans for them. He knew that Shadowcrest was my father's clan, and they were still as strong as before, so he needed to find a way to make us weak. I would never let that happen. I had to make quick moves, or things would go wrong for me, and that would be the end for me. Suddenly, the thought of Thorne came into my head. He was a strong and talented hunter, ignoring the fact that he was my mate. He could be helpful to my army. I wondered how I could get him to my side. He and Mascot weren't friends, but had a good encounter in the past, so I knew he needed to be convinced strongly to stand for me. I drew out a piece of paper and wrote a paper Mascot. I might have been wrong to ditch you like I did. I am very sorry. Let's meet up tomorrow evening and settle everything. Let's talk about it like mature adults. I read out the lines a few times aloud and thought of adding more details to make sure he comes to see me tomorrow, but I was already sure he would come. Mascot was not a very smart man, even though he thinks that he is. I headed to Laura's immediately to talk to her. I hoped she hadn't gone to the market because that was the only place that could keep her away from home at this moment. I met her about locking her chambers to leave for the market. Laura, I called. She turned to look at me. Her eyes were weak, and she looked sick. What do you want? Let's talk, please. We can't. I'm about to leave for the market. She mumbled to me and turned back to lock her door properly. Please leave. I'm very sorry, but I won't leave until you agree to talk to me, I retorted, and I meant every word I said. She must have seen that I was serious with what I said, so she didn't ignore me. Say what you have to say or leave. She gave me an option, and I would take it. I know you are very much upset with me. I understand that you have the right to be angry, but you are pushing your anger to the wrong person. Mascot was the one that approached me, and he asked me to marry him. Can you please stop? I know you don't want to hear my voice or see me, but please let me prove it to you. Give me a chance. How do you intend to do that? She asked, clearly interested. You'll see by tomorrow. Come to the river by nightfall tomorrow, and you'll see what I'm trying to say. Please don't be late. I said and stared at her. I approached her quietly and held her hands. I really miss you. Let's not fight anymore. She didn't reciprocate my feelings, but I could see that she missed me too. "We'll see by tomorrow," she replied and nodded. I left her chambers to find Thorne. I wanted to talk to him and also ask for a favor. The few times we had spoken, he turned out to be smart and strong, but was so proud. "Hello," I greeted the first wolf I saw. "I'm searching for a young hunter named Thorne. Please, can you take me to him?" He stared from my face down. "Yes, he is here. Who are you? Another of his girlfriends?" He was loud enough that some of his colleagues could hear. They all laughed. "Who are you, young girl?" another asked. "I'm sorry for the intrusion, but I'm in search of Thorne," I said. They were on the open field, so I believed the scorching sun had dealt with their brains. "Why are you looking for him?" he asked again. Was it me, or was every warrior or hunter in this clan dumb? If I had wanted to talk to Thorne publicly, I wouldn't be coming to the field to ask of him. Would I? "I just need to speak to him," I replied, trying to hide the fact that I was getting upset. "Thorne, one of your girlfriends is here." The one I was talking to exclaimed, and they laughed louder than before. "She's that new girl in town." The first warrior chimed in. "The spy?" the second one asked. "Yes, it's her." I smiled because they were gossiping about me even in my presence. I wonder why such a beautiful young girl would do that. "Let's ask her." "She's here." The noisiest one stood up, approaching me. "Hey you, why did you have to do that?" I simply ignored him. I stood stretching my neck to see if I could sight Thorne from afar, but he was nowhere to be found. "I'm speaking to you." He shoved me and I fell. "You don't ignore me when I talk to you." "Don't touch me," I screamed at him. The other warriors cheered him on. He didn't stop coming close. I crawled away from him because I had hurt my knee, but he didn't stop coming close. "Stop there, you little brat," he said. I suddenly stopped and used my legs to hit his own leg. He fell at once and his friends laughed. He got up immediately and charged at me. He held my neck while I was still on the floor. As I coughed, no one stopped to help me. They all continued cheering him. Then suddenly, someone hit him in the head. "Don't you know that you don't ever lay your hands on a woman?" It was Thorne's voice. He stood there like a prince who appeared when there was a princess in distress. "Let's leave." He stretched out his hands to me, helping me up so I could move swiftly. "What happened?" he asked me as we walked away from the crowd. "They were trying to bully me, obviously," I said to him. "Why did you come here? Men here are not nice at all," he said as he stopped. We were farther away from the troublemakers now, so we stood to talk. "I came to see your help." "My help? About what issue?" "As you know, I was earlier accused of being a spy by Mascot. That I want you to help me prove that I'm innocent." "Are you?" he asked, his eyes wide open. "Of course I am. That's why I want to prove it," I said. I had 3 things to prove Mascot wrong about. First, I had to make sure he said that he was the one that chased after me for the sake of Laura. I needed him to also admit the fact that he was working with Lucas against me, so I could convince the Alpha to stand by me. The third one was to prove that I wasn't a spy against this clan. It was going to be a hard fight, but I wouldn't give up. Lucas was after me, so he chose an easy prey as Mascot to fight with him against me. I knew what I was in for. Lucas was not a man that should be played with. When I was younger, people said he never lost to any clan whenever he fought them, and since I grew up to know my left and right, they were right. Lucas has never lost a fight and is now fighting against me. I didn't let the negative energy get to me. I just flowed with it. "How do you intend to prove yourself?" he asked. I was glad he was willing to help me. "Don't get too excited yet." He immediately responded when he saw me smile. "I want you to help me get this letter to Mascot. He'll meet me tomorrow and hopefully I'll get him to talk." I wanted to mention the fact that Laura and the Alpha would be present too, but there was certainly no need to say anything. I was being careful on who to trust, so I wouldn't get myself into problems like I did with Mascot. "Are you in?" "Yes." "Where is the letter?" I handed it to him. "Please make sure it gets to him," I pleaded with him. "I will," he responded and paused. It was a painful silence. "I'll leave now. Let's take a walk." He blurted out, and without even waiting for me to respond, he dragged me along. "Hey, that's not a romantic way to ask a lady out," I screamed after him. Instantly, his hands dropped. "This isn't a date, and I'm never asking you out," he answered. "Really?" "I just want to take a break, that's all. Don't overthink it," he replied while walking ahead of me slowly. So why did you save me back there? I asked him. Because that was what I should do, he answered. You save every woman in distress? I asked, trying to put him in a tight corner. No, just stop talking, will you? I laughed so suddenly and out loud that he stared at me. I got you. I really appreciated that Thorne had made me laugh after many days of no laughter. We literally walked through the whole forest until evening, discussing random things. I hope your plan works, he said to me, and I knew he meant it. Me too. I have to do my best or I would lose the little trust I have with my friends and family. I tried to comb through my hair with my fingers. It was getting late and I had to rest because it would be a big day tomorrow. Don't forget to give him the letter, please, I pleaded once more. Thorne had suggested taking me home, but I insisted that he took the letter first to Mascot. Do not give the letter to anyone apart from Mascot, I told him, referring to Lucas. That night I had a nightmare. A terrible one, too. I was chased by 2 armies. They kept chasing me while I kept running, not looking back. Stop there! Stop there! They kept calling me as I ran. I ran as fast as my legs could carry. It was a terrifying experience and I was sweating profusely. The sights of soldiers and guns and knives, horses whose feet barely touched the ground. I was breathing heavily when I fell to the floor to catch my breath. They were still approaching that I had to use my hands to shut my eyes, terrified of what would happen to me. My mind was desperately racing, looking for new means and routes to escape. Seconds later, and I was still unharmed. I opened my eyes to see that the 2 armies were now fighting against each other. No one touched, they faced each other. Suddenly I woke up, my mind unsettled and distressed. I had wanted to have a good night's sleep, but it turned out disorienting and dark. My heart was racing, resounding through my body. It was morning already. I sat up, trying to find out if the dreams I had were connected in any way to the plans I had for Mascot. What did it all mean? Why wasn't I attacked? Why did the 2 armies attack each other instead? I washed my face and then my teeth. I felt good. It was going to be a good day and no one would ruin it for me. I packed up to go to the market today. I was going to make a delicious meal today. The sunlight filtered through the windows, painting the sky with hues of soft baby pink. Birds stir, making melodious sounds. I felt warm as I walked to the market, my mind completely open and unbothered. I had with me the baskets I would use for my foodstuff. I was humming a beautiful song I had learnt from Laura. I see you look happy today. I wonder what you're plotting. I trembled at the sound of Lucas's voice. I turned sharply to him. You can never be this happy if you weren't plotting anything. He was holding the exact letter I had written to Mascot. Do you think I am stupid? He slowly approached me and shoved a torn piece of paper in my face. Try harder next time. I thought you were smarter than this. Are you trying to trap him in your web of lies? Are you trying to use him? It was early in the morning, but the road I was on was a lonely road, so I started fidgeting. You don't have to worry. I'm not going to hurt you. Lucas took 2 steps backwards. After all, this isn't the time and day for that, so I'll let it rest. I watched him turn to leave, but stopped facing me again. The next time this happens, you wouldn't be so lucky. Don't bother waiting for him. He won't show up. What do you want? I screamed after him, holding back my tears. You know what I want. He was far away then, but I could clearly hear his laughter. Why was all my effort being destroyed? Was I never destined to be happy? I questioned myself. No, I won't let Laura and the Alpha King down. I have to do something quick, but what? I thought so hard, and I couldn't figure out what to do. If Mascot eventually didn't make it as I planned, I would lose all the trust I had built in this clan. Maybe I should go back home. Life in the palace was calm and relaxing, unlike here, where I literally fight even to eat. Going home is the solution to your problems, my wolf said to me. Staying home would have saved me from this, I answered. My basket was in the sand, unused. There was nothing more to do. The stage had been sent, and the people that would watch had been invited. What I wasn't sure about was if the people involved in the play would make it. I closed my eyes and made a silent prayer to the moon goddess. I picked my basket and headed to the market. I was still going to follow through with my plans exactly the way I had made it. Did Thorne betray me? Was he the one that handed the letter to Lucas? Did he know who Lucas was? I thought when I was buying my foodstuff. I went to my house and prepared food just like I said I would, and ate lavishly. I didn't know why I didn't seem bothered about what Lucas said to me this morning. After feeding myself, I went for my training sessions, which took most of my time. Then I made more healing ointment for the people. I looked at the sky and smiled. It was time. I went to the park where I was expecting Mascot and waited. I didn't know if he would show up with either the Alpha or Laura. It was all too complicated for me, but I sat there and waited. The air was too heavy on my skin and I needed to cover up. My hands went akimbo suddenly to help reduce the cold. Suddenly, I felt something in the air. It was speaking to me. Whoosh! It continued, but it wasn't making any sense. I was sitting under a big tree, so the leaves began to fall one after the other like I was in a dream. I'll help you. I could hear the whisper in the air. Suddenly, Mascot ran out from nowhere in particular. Then just suddenly, too, I saw Laura at the corner, also with the Alpha hiding. Did they meet? That wasn't important. Mascot was standing here, breathing heavily. Did you get my letter? What letter? No, he asked. I knew just then that Lucas didn't show him the letter. He was standing but with his hands on his knees trying to catch his breath. Why are you running? Something suddenly started chasing me, so I had to follow this path. He stood up. Why are you here? Nothing. I turned my face slightly to where Laura and the Alpha stood. Actually, I was waiting for you. Me? Yes, you. I have been waiting for a long time. I had to start acting. I wanted us to discuss what happened here last time. You mean when I knelt down to ask you to marry me and you rejected me? His frown was turning to anger. Yes, why? I asked. I wanted him to say as much as possible while I asked the questions. Well, because I like you. Is that answer enough for you? Not really. I'm not your soulmate. Those things don't exist. There was fury in his eyes as he answered me. I didn't know what Lucas must have done to him, but whatever it was, it had an effect on him. Is that why you want to kill me? Yes, since you didn't want to be with me, you must be destroyed, you and whatever stupid journey you always talked about. When he said those words, I discovered that it wasn't the same person I knew. Lucas must have messed up his head because he wasn't speaking like his normal self. I knew that the only way I could put an asunder to his relationship with Lucas was to break the little trust they had. Maybe that's why Lucas is using you, I said gently. He couldn't understand what I was trying to say. He asked me to marry him, and since he couldn't get it too, he's trying to make you my enemy. No, that must be a lie. He scratched his head continuously like he was losing his mind. Suddenly again, he ran away. You all must pay for this. I glanced at where Laura and the Alpha were standing and signaled them to wait so I could be sure that Mascot wasn't anyway close by. What's wrong with him? He's acting like he's been possessed, Laura replied. He has refused to talk to me or have anything to do with me. I wonder why he's like this. I knew it was difficult to accept, but Mascot was an entirely different man now, so I let her navigate through her thoughts. I'm sorry, Naomi. I didn't believe you. I thought Mascot was my mate and would never cheat on me. Laura hugged me and didn't want to let go. I just want you to know that the clan has your back and you have nothing to be afraid of. You are not alone. He said without authority, and I trusted his words because he never goes back on his words. I'm very grateful that you made time for me. I will forever be grateful, I replied and bowed to the Alpha. When the Alpha and his guards left, Laura still wouldn't let me go. I missed you so much, but my ego wouldn't let me go see you. I and Laura went up later in the day after we picked out some fruits from the garden. I missed doing this with you, she told me. You know I missed you as well. Why was Mascot suddenly acting possessed? Did something happen to him? I'm as confused as you. I'm really sorry you had to see that. I apologized to Laura. It's actually better that I had seen that, so I wouldn't waste my energy on unimportant things. She nodded. You know, I think you have been tolerating his excesses for so long, so I won't take it anymore. I cried for a couple of days, thinking you betrayed me, but since it was he that wanted the breakup, I'll just let him have it. I touched Laura's hand softly, not sure of what else I would do. I'm okay, I promise, she assured me. Something happened during my meeting with Mascot. I sat with Laura when I got to her place. The few happenings of the past week have really shown me who I should trust and those I shouldn't. Laura was a friend I couldn't bear to lose, so I decided to trust her instead. Laura? I took a deep breath, then looked into her eyes while I spoke to her. This is me telling you everything you need to know about me. Okay. Laura was ready to give me a listening ear. I'm going to make this story as short as possible. I came from an Ice-crest park where I live with my father. When I was young, I was taken away from my father's land, Shadowcrest, and my father's inheritance was taken. Months ago, in this palace, the Alpha's brother showed interest in marrying, but I refused, and because of that I was banished from the clan. Now, he is back here, and I think he came for me. I paused to take a deep breath and to see if Laura was following my story closely. He's back and he's threatening my life. Mascot is working with him currently. I don't know how he got Mascot on his side, but he must have offered him something precious. But why does he want to marry you so bad that he came looking for you? Laura asked. That's exactly what I don't know, but I know one thing. I gazed into space. Lucas never does anything that doesn't benefit him. I believe there's a reason why he so much wants me to marry him, but I still haven't figured it out. Maybe because of the healing ointment you make? I mean, you are the only one that can make it here. That's a special gift from the moon goddess. That can't be it. He could have asked me to teach him how to make it. I know it's deeper than the healing ointment. I bit my lower lips as I thought hard. Maybe you should ask your mother, Laura suggested. That's not a good idea. She didn't want me to leave the palace in the first place. She wanted you to marry him? Laura was shocked as I nodded in affirmation. Then, I think she's hiding something too. I believe so too. I just couldn't wait for her to tell me because she might never tell me. Oh. Laura kept quiet in deep thought. Where do you always go? You knew. Of course I did, Laura said, and I chuckled. I thought I was hiding it real well, I explained, smiling. I found my father's clan. They're few now, but they're still very much powerful. Then why don't you ask any of them? Someone might know why Lucas was really after you. Yes, I supported her. I also need to learn about Lucas. I wish you luck in all of this. Laura was honest about how she felt, but I wanted more. I want you to go with me. It came as a shock. Are you sure? Yes, I do. I want my best friend by my side. Well, she took her hands away from mine, and that made me think she would refuse my offer. Since I don't have a love life, I might just have an adventurous life. I am in, she screamed, raising her hands in victory. I don't know what I should wear. Should I put on makeup? Makeup? You're going to be fighting bad guys. I don't think you need makeup. I laughed at how anxious and excited she looked. Yes, that's true. Maybe I'll also find my true love. She was packing her clothes into a bag. You don't have to pack so much. We'll come back here soon enough, I told her. I'm sorry. She was too excited. She stopped suddenly and came to sit beside me. What should we do about the Lucas guy? She seemed disturbed. What about him? Well, the way you described him, he seemed like the devil himself. Laura said, and I laughed out loud. Well, he could be worse if he wanted to. What should we do about him? I don't want him to hurt you, Laura replied, squeezing her face. You don't have to worry. I have already told the Alpha about it, and he has offered to help me. All right. Laura was now calm. When she saw how I was looking into a blank space, she shoved me a little, which helped bring me back to reality. What is the problem? Nothing, I said, looked at her, smiled. I just can't believe that my life would turn out like this. Like what? Me here? Running away from people like Lucas, or chasing after my father's inheritance, putting my life in danger and the life of my friends too. This is for a good cause. Laura comforted me. Who said that we were going to risk our life? We are instead going to have fun as we do this together. It was really comforting to hear from Laura. I thought of something, then smiled. What? Talk to me. Nothing, I responded, trying to hide my smile. No, I don't believe you. There's something you're hiding from me. Nothing. I'm serious, I told her, and as I saw that she was trying to approach me, I ran out of the chambers. No, she chased after me. Tell me or I'll. She looked around looking for what she could use to threaten me. Or I'll use this bread on your face. Bread? That's too poor. Don't dare me, she screamed at me. All right. I paused, then shut my ears because I didn't want to hear what I wanted to say. I think I found my mate. Ah! I'm so happy for you, Laura replied when she was done screaming loudly. Well, it's nothing serious. What do you mean? Tell me about it. Where is he from? Where does he live? Who is he? I want to know everything. The only reason Laura let me go was because I had convinced her that I would tell her everything on the way to Shadowcrest. We decided to leave the next day very early morning so we wouldn't draw attention to ourselves. I left her place to go see Thorne. I didn't tell Laura that I was going to see my mate or she wouldn't let me go alone. I had to find out why Lucas was with the letter I had given to him to hand to Mascot. I didn't know that miracle that had brought Mascot my way, but if not for it, everything would have been a mess. I reached his house and knocked a few times before he opened the door. What do you want? He must have been sleeping because his eyes were tired. Can we talk? No. I was getting upset with the way Thorne was acting. Wasn't he supposed to be apologizing to me for betraying me and handing the letter over to Lucas? Why? I asked, trying to see his face, but he somehow was trying to hide. I guess he was feeling guilty about what he did, but his pride wouldn't let him apologize. Of course, I thought as much. Your precious little ego wouldn't let you apologize. What do you mean? You should be the one apologizing, not me. I stopped. I suddenly became confused. Why should I apologize when I didn't do anything? You are oblivious, aren't you? He came out into the light, and then I could see the bruises on his face. Your crazy friend did this to me. Crazy? You mean Mascot? I asked. No, your other crazy friend, Lucas, I affirmed. Is that his name? He hit me from behind and gave me these injuries, asking me to stay away from you. I turned and thought about it. Lucas might have seen us together and had followed him so he could take the letter from him. I'm sorry, I replied. You should have told me. He hissed heavily. He looked upset with me, but he still couldn't get himself to walk out on me. I'm sorry, I said, hoping you would hear this one and forgive. I was getting angry because I thought you gave him the letter when he threatened you. I'm sorry. I approached him and touched his wounds quietly. Ouch, that's painful. He replied as I smiled at him. Can I come in and help you? I asked, but he gave a doubtful look. I make healing ointment too. I thought it was a dream, but I saw him smile as he let me in. Thorne actually smiled at what I said, and that made my heart beat faster. I wonder why. I applied the healing ointment slowly on his face as he grunted most of the time in my face. This will help subdue the pain, and you'll be okay before morning. How did you learn to make the healing ointment? It was a gift, I responded. From? I'm not sure. The moon goddess, I guess. Oh, that's nice, he responded. I was already done with applying the ointment on his face. Thank you. You're welcome. I thought you were so strong at first. I teased him. I'm strong, of course I am. Then why did you let Lucas hit you like this? I asked, trying not to laugh. When he didn't answer, I looked at him and he was staring at me. Thorne? He answered and shuddered, coming back to reality. What are you thinking about? I questioned him, but he insisted it was nothing. All you need to know is that he attacked me from behind, so I couldn't stand up for myself. If not, I would have kicked his ass. He showed me how hard he would have kicked Lucas. Like this, I laughed. It's good to see you laugh, he responded. What would you like to have? I watched him offer me food and water. You made it, I asked him. Yeah, it tastes so good, he replied. I'll be the judge of that. Immediately, I put it in my mouth, and I spat it out immediately. What is this? But this tastes really nice. He took the spoon from me, took a scoop of food, and ate. I watched chew and swallow the whole thing. How can you eat this? The boys said it tasted nice when I had them taste it. The boys? The same people that were trying to fight me the other day? I said, emphasizing more on the fighting. What do they know about food? Thorne laughed. They aren't that bad. They're actually good friends of mine. Including the one you hit. I became curious, and he nodded in the affirmative. Ah, you hit your friend because of me. I'm so pleased. I answered, making him blush. I thought to myself that they could also be helpful to me. I needed people that could stand by me, a strong army that would go to Lucas. They were all warriors and could be of great help to me. Don't get too comfortable, Thorne replied, taking back his food. Since you said you don't like the food, I'll take it back. No, no, I'll help you make another meal and you'll help me deliver it to your warrior friends. Why? Thorne asked me. Because I want them to know how a good meal tastes. Ouch. Thorne held his hands to his chest. That was painful. I mean no insult, but my supersedes this now and forever. I bragged. I was taken to the kitchen and just like I bragged, it turned out perfect. This is too good, he testified as he ate. The boys will love it. I wanted to ask you to come with I and Laura to my father's clan. Is that too much to ask? I wanted him to agree. I wanted him to say yes. I didn't know if it was because he could help protect us, or because he made me happy, or because I just wanted his presence. It was all too confusing for me. After he finished his meal, he escorted me to my own chambers, promising to pass my little message to the warriors themselves. I thought of how Laura would be so glad to meet Thorne. I knew deep down I could feel it in my bones. These two, Thorne and Laura, were like family to me. The next day was a big day for us all. I woke up feeling very energetic. The air was crisp and tanged with a scent of damp earth. The sky was painted in deep shades of blue and beautiful to watch. I was ready, bag packed with a sweater because of the cold. I was to go visit Laura, but she showed up on my doorstep. You're here? Yes. I couldn't wait for you. I was too excited. She literally jumped up as she spoke. So, tell me about your mate. Don't forget what you promised. Did I? I pretended not to remember. Yes, I'm not in the mood for jokes. I want to know. Well, I have a surprise for you, I told her. What is it? She stared at me. Instead of just telling you, I'll show you. I told her and we made our way to Thorne's chambers. Where are we going? She asked. If I tell you, then the surprise would get ruined. She stopped asking me about it. We talked about random things before we got to Thorne's chambers. We were close by to his chambers when Laura knew it was him. He's the one, right? I nodded, wondering how she knew. Did you see him at the river park that day? She asked, and I nodded in affirmation. Wow, so it does work. I'm so glad for you. She congratulated me. Thorne must have seen us from his chambers as we stood gossiping, so he approached. I swear he looked good in his clothes, even though his huge muscles were covered. You're here. He smiled at me. Yes. I answered, smiling back. Laura must have noticed and cleared her throat. Oh, this is Laura, my best friend. Laura, this is Thorne, my friend. Hello, Laura greeted, extending her hand for a handshake, which Thorne took. Hello, he responded and looked up. The weather doesn't look good, so we should get going. Yeah, it's quite a long walk. We aren't walking, Thorne responded. For a moment I wanted to ask him what he meant, but I turned to see 3 horses waiting. This would make our journey faster and less tiring, he said, signaling for us to climb on. Oh, I love it. It's been a while since I rode on a horse, she commented while I stood there, glaring at the scaring-looking horse. Come on, Naomi, Laura called me. I took 2 steps forward, but I couldn't move again. I remembered the last time I tried entering a horse, it gave me the worst fright in my life. Did something happen? Don't you like horses? Thorne asked. I'm afraid of them, I said and hid my face because I was ashamed. The first time I tried, I failed woefully, so I didn't try again. What? How can you be afraid of these cute little creatures? Laura teased me. They're not that cute. I went glaring at the horses like they did something evil to me. Don't kill them with your eyes. Thorne burst out laughing and was joined by Laura. Help me, you guys. Don't laugh. Laura didn't stop laughing while Thorne tried to get one very close to me so I could touch it. Touch it. You'll see they can't hurt you. No. I ran back. What should we do now? We don't have the time to teach her how to ride a horse, Laura asked. Maybe she should ride with you. No, she should ride with you because I don't think I can handle 2 people, Laura suggested. I knew it was a plot to get me closer to Thorne, seeing that she gave a stupid reason. I agree because I can't ride on that. Thorne gets on the horse first, then with the help of Laura dragged me up as I sat behind him, holding on to his waist. Laura climbed on her immediately, and we set off with Thorne leading the way. I couldn't even move my body, scared that I would fall and hurt myself. I felt a blend of excitement and nervousness at the same time. The horse movement was rhythmic, swaying from one side to the other with us swaying with it. I could feel its warmth underneath, and I for once didn't feel it was a cold-hearted beast. As I opened my eyes for the first time, The world looked different from this high perspective, more beautiful than one could imagine. Wow, I gasped. Beautiful, right? Yes, very beautiful. Oh, I held on to Thorne tighter when it felt like the horse was about to fall. Thorne laughed, teasing me. Don't be a crybaby. I'm not being a crybaby, I'm just anxious, that's all, I said to him, still not letting him go. He seemed to be enjoying my hold on him, so I didn't let go even for a second. We kept on going, the wind blowing softly on my skin. I looked back only to see Laura with her hands wide opened. What are you doing? I had to raise my voice so she could hear me. I'm just enjoying the ride, she responded. This is so lovely. I don't want it to stop. At one point, we stopped for the horses to have a drink. As I watched them enjoy a drink of water, I felt a strange feeling of respect for this creature. According to my map, we are very close by, Thorne said. They aren't that scary anymore, are they? Well, they don't look like it, but I still have to be careful. The last time I fell for their cuteness, I fell on my back, I said, and my colleagues laughed. I didn't know if I did anything wrong to that particular horse, but he hated me. When we have time in our hands, I'll teach you how to ride a horse, so you don't have to worry, Thorne said to me. On, that's so nice. Let's quickly go pick some fruits so we could be on our way, Laura said and dragged me with her, furiously. I'll stay here and watch the horses, Thorne mumbled. Be safe, he waved. Thorne is being so romantic, Laura said when we walked a little distance away from Thorne. So cute. I watched her display her craziness. What do you mean? He wants to teach you how to ride a horse. What do you think he wants? That's normal, obviously, I said, completely oblivious of the point Laura was making. I think he likes you. Does he know you're his mate? Jay whispered to me. I don't think so. I whispered back to her, then tell him. Laura urged me. I really didn't want to have this discussion here because Thorne might have been listening, so I agreed to tell Thorne. Let's go back. It's getting late. I dragged Laura back. The rest of our journey was a smooth one, and I was grateful to the horses. When we got to the clan, I had to take Laura and Thorne so they could meet Diane. Chad came running to me to greet me. Naomi, where's Mascot? You brought another big uncle today. He was referring to Thorne. I bent down to hug him and ask him how he was doing. I didn't know what I was going to tell him happened to Mascot, but this wasn't the time for that. Where's Mama Diane? I asked him, and he pointed to the sacred place. That was where Diane went for her incantations and meditations. Sacred place? Is that safe? Laura asked. Yes. Come on, she'll be delighted to meet you. We walked some miles away from the village to get to the secluded forest. As we went, Laura never left my hands even for a moment. Diane sat, wrapped in tattered clothes, eyes shut in the sand. She moved with her hands, effortlessly. Her presence was elusive, and I wasn't sure it was her I saw. She moved her lips so fast that I couldn't understand what she was saying or trying to say. Suddenly she stopped. Come, my children. Sit, she requested, pointing at us even with her eyes shut. How can she see us? Her eyes are closed. Thorne must have wondered out loud. I gave them an assuring nod as I sat in front of Diane, taking her position. What's wrong? She asked. You're troubled? She asked no one in particular. I think someone. Shh, not you. I mean you. She pointed at Laura and then smiled. You. Laura was confused about what to say. Talk, I'm worried about the love of my life. I'm afraid he'll never come back to me. Huh? Diane responded. You. She then pointed at me. You have a gift, something that has never existed in all time. You are meant to build or destroy lands just without doing anything. Do not give up. You. She then pointed at Thorne. Your ego will be the end of you if you're not careful. I looked at Thorne, but he didn't have an expression on his face. I hoped he wasn't upset. Go wait outside, she ordered us. We didn't say much to each other as we waited. Everyone must have been thinking about what Diane had said. Naomi? Diane came out and gave me a hug. This was the Diane that I knew, not the one we encountered inside the sacred place. These are my friends, Laura and Thorne. I introduced them to Diane. I know that whatever you saw in there must have been scary, but I promise you, I'm not always like this. She laughed even though no one found it amusing. What was that? I asked as I led Diane, taking her by the hands to her chambers. I don't know what came over me, but I think the moon goddess has a message for you. You mean the message about me having a gift? I asked. Yes, but that's not all. We need to find out what type of gift it is that you possess. Diane said to me, That is the reason why Lucas is after you. Who's Lucas? Disney asked. You need to sit first and regain your strength, then we'll talk. I told her, not letting her go. When we got to her chambers, she called one of her maids to prepare another chamber for us. Prepare a chamber for our guests. Go with her, I'll come later, I urged Laura and Thorne. Are you sure? I nodded in affirmation. I see you got yourself another man. Diane mumbled, and I laughed. Stop it. I see that this one cares about you. That's nice. She replied, washing her very dirty hands in a bowl. You said something about his ego. Yeah, his ego could ruin him. What do you mean? I asked, quite interested. That revelation is meant for his ears alone, Diane explained to me. Tell me about Lucas. Well, he is my uncle, not related though. While I was still at the palace, he gave me the option of getting married to him, serving him as a maid, or getting banished from the land. Here I am. I spread my arms. So he's coming after you? Yes, and I want to know why. He just kept saying that no matter where I run to, he'll find me, and I don't doubt that. I paused. Diane, this man is very dangerous, and I don't want him coming here to disrupt the peace this clan has. No one has the right to take what the moon goddess has given to us. Diane, you don't understand. This man can even do it. He is simply unstoppable at doing evil. I watched Diane smile at me. Then we must find out what your gift is. Yes, we should, but how? Will you be going to the sacred place tomorrow? I won't be the one to do that. I'll take you to a soul shifter, Orion. A soul shifter? Do those still exist? I was shocked to hear that from Diane. Of course, they do. You just don't know. Wow, I answered and yarned. You should join me for dinner. I'll call my maids to serve you. I'll eat with my friends. I wouldn't like to be a bother to you. Diane stared at me for a few seconds. If only you knew the power you have and the family you have here, you wouldn't ever think that you're a bother. She replied and went to her chambers. She came out a few seconds later. Prepare for tomorrow. I'll take you to Orion. You need to meet him. It's time for you to discover what you're made for. I sat there for a few minutes. A sense of fulfillment washed over me, and I felt content with where I was. This was the right place for me. I didn't have to pretend or avoid people. I was just free. As I went back to the chambers, everything felt okay. A moment where everything aligned perfectly, when all my life goals seemed to be coming to pass. I felt a sudden calmness that shook my body. It freed me from the restlessness that I had felt all this while. I met Laura and Thorne at the chambers where they were eating. What was that weird thing she said about my ego? Thorne asked me when I joined them. Am I such a proud man? I and Laura stared at each other, trying not to laugh. What's that movement you're making with your eyes? Thorne said when he saw us speaking with our eyes. Am I that proud? Yes, you are, I said, teamed back at him, and he looked to Laura for her answer. Well, I just met you. I'll give you an answer in a week's time. Why would you say I was proud? Thorne faced me, frowning. You are, I said. Avoid his eyes. He didn't stop staring. Tell me how. Well, the first time I met you, you spoke so highly of yourself, your muscles, and the fact that you're a warrior, I told him. Well, I'm sorry if that gave me off as being proud. He apologized and continued eating. This is delicious, actually. Laura pointed at the food, expressing her joy. Yes, it's really nice, I agreed. They make the best food, I bet you. When we were about to go to sleep and everyone was on their different beds, I told them that we were going to see Orion the next day. Who is he? Laura asked. That name is weird, though. He's a soul shifter in this village, a powerful man, and I'm going with Diane. He's going to tell me what my gift is and why Lucas wants it so bad. I explained as they listened closely to me. I want you guys to come with me. Do soul shifters really exist in this part of the world? Laura's eyes went wide open. I wonder too, Thorne responded. That's what Diane said. I guess we'll see for ourselves tomorrow. That'll be nice. He could also tell us what our destiny is too. Laura thought, and we all thought it was a good idea. The next morning we were set to visit Orion. Diane has promised to take us to him. We were trying to find out what my goal was and why Lucas was after it. We got set and headed to Diane's chamber where we waited for her to finish up. The sun was scorching and uncomfortable to the skin. Chad was working with others at the field where I saw him. I was so glad that he was accepted here. When I saw him alone at the treehouse, I felt bad for him. It reminded me of those times when I lived at the palace where I was surrounded by people but still felt lonely. I wanted to bring him to a place where he would be accepted for who he was. Naomi. He was always so happy and excited whenever he met me. How are you? He gave me a hug, which I returned to him. I'm doing good. Are you here to stay? He asked me. I'm just visiting. You don't have to worry. Next time I'll come live here so we can live together, doing everything and no one can stop us, I responded. I'm so happy you're feeling great here. Yes, I am. The villagers are treating me well. I'm so happy to be here. We shared a moment which brought tears to my eyes. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. Diane came out of her chambers, fully dressed and ready for our journey. Does this Orion stay somewhere far away? Not far, but distant from people's eyes. Distant. Thorne wondered what she meant. Diane led the way. We went through a narrow path where mystical and exotic plants grew abundantly. That's it? Diane pointed at a hut constructed from weathered timber which was adorned with mystical symbols. Is that blood? Laura was puzzled. Yes, this place is actually a very dangerous place because lots of souls live here. Souls which do not have bodies where they can reside. I remembered that I read that soul shifters shift a soul to another body. They could manipulate souls and make them do their will. Soul shifters were always considered evil in the stories I read when I was young. Maybe I could tell him to help me shift Lucas's soul to another body where he couldn't achieve his evil plans. I have an idea. Diane. I ran excitedly to Diane. Whatever you're thinking is wrong. What kind of human will that make you? Diane asked me to prepare my mind like she always did. As I thought about it, I found out that she was right. What kind of person would make me if I did what Lucas, if he was in my shoes, would do? It doesn't make any difference. It meant that I was as evil as him. The environment was suddenly serene and quiet as we kept walking. The hut we saw was hidden but stood alone in an open space. Be careful. Don't touch anything. This is not a joke. Diane told us when we got to the entrance. People have come here alive and didn't leave. Why wouldn't they leave? Laura was oblivious of what Diane was trying to explain. They died, I whispered to her. Oh. She understood properly now and held her hands together to avoid touching anything because she was the only one that could fall under that trap. Come in, Diane said. As we walked in, I discovered why it was called the boundaries between physical and spiritual realms, good spirits and evil spirits. The hut was intriguing in dangerous ways. Welcome. It was not a familiar voice. The hut that was quite small from when we saw it outside seemed to not have an end. Is it me or is this hut getting bigger as we go in? I thought I was crazy, Thorne replied. Bigger and larger too, I responded. We stopped for some moments to take in the majestic environment. This is so beautiful, Laura replied. It doesn't even come close to what I imagined a soul shifter's cave would look like. What did you imagine? The man that stood before us was the most handsome man I had ever seen. Beautiful green eyes, pointed nose, perfect jawline. It was just heavenly. How does a soul shifter look like this, huh? I whispered to Laura, but it was observed that everyone heard me. Oh, I and Laura gasped. My name is Orion, he replied, stretching his hands for a handshake to nobody in particular, but Laura took it. My name is Laura. Call me anything you wish. You have a wonderful name, too. I stood there as I marveled at Laura. Was she actually flirting with a soul shifter? Was she? My name is Naomi. I introduced myself, pointed at, this is Thorne and this is Diane. I know who she is. She needs no introduction. Orion replied, a very brave woman. You remember me? Yes, I do. It's been years since we had met, and I must be looking so different from what you know. Not totally different. You look the same to me? Have you guys met before? Laura asked when he didn't pay attention to her. Yes, when I was much younger and Naomi's father, the Alpha of Shadowcrest. It was just a peaceful time then. Everything was so peaceful. There wasn't much war. I just loved those times. Naomi described those times so dreamily. When you talk about times like that, I wish I was born then. Thorne replied and then turned to Orion. Were you also little at the time you guys met? Thorne asked. I'm a soul shifter. He simply replied and gave a smile that could melt anyone's heart. With the power I have, anything is possible. There was silence, and I knew what everyone was thinking at that moment. What do you find in my humble abode? He asked. We are here because we need to know the reason for everything that has been happening in Naomi's life. We basically want to know the fate of Shadowcrest. Diane spoke fast, signaling me to fill him in. I have a man who is against my growth and development. His name is Lucas. I want to know about him. Lucas? The killer. Killer? Everyone wondered out loud. He was the one that attacked Shadowcrest 13 years ago, when you were still little. Orion said. No, that was Alpha King Magnus. I retorted. It was Lucas who killed your father and took your inheritance, but he made his brother take the blame. He saw how powerful you would become, so he wanted to tame you in the palace. That was why he forced his brother to marry your mother, so she could become Luna and stay put in the palace. What? I gasped in shock. Your mother fell for it, but you didn't. When you were growing up, you started asking questions. You were different. So he still wanted to keep you all to himself. That was why he asked that you marry him. Orion paused and continued. He knew you would be powerful one day and find out that he killed your father, so he wanted to cut your wings, but you didn't let him. And that's why he's after you. No, I was about to break down in tears. He doesn't want you to know this information, but now you know. What powers does she possess? Laura asked. First, she has the power that I have. She's a soul shifter? Thorne spoke in a horrific tone. Not really, but she can shift if she wants to. She has night vision, which can navigate in darkness. She possesses heightened senses, which means she has great eyesight, great acute sense of smell. Wow. They all stared at me. Why haven't I experienced any of this? You haven't looked into your inner self. You need to believe and meditate, and all of this will come to pass, Orion explained. Really? Could she try it here? Diane asked. Yes, she could, but I think you guys should go. I sense danger coming into the pack. Danger? I questioned him. Yes. Naomi, we have to go. Lucas is on his way. He is here. Diane helped me up and I was led. Come with us, please. Laura pleaded with Orion. She was being dragged out by Thorne. I can't, but I can give you something that can help you in this fight, Orion said and touched her forehead. Suddenly she fell. You too. He touched Thorne, who also fell to the ground. Let's go. We need to get back to the park before Lucas, Diane screamed. Orion, help us with speed. On that. He blew air into his hands and touched each of our foreheads. You have speed. Be on your way now, and remember, do not let Lucas win or history will repeat itself. Immediately I got touched by Orion. I felt strong again. I wondered what he meant by history repeating itself. Did he mean Lucas would kill me just like the way he killed my father 13 years ago? Do not let history repeat itself, I said to myself as we took off. I can't believe I'm running this fast. It was an exhilarating experience for us. I looked down, but it didn't look like my feet were touching the ground, even though we were running. Oh my God. Do you see this? Thorne was extremely excited. As we ran, the world transformed into a rainbow of colors and shapes. Trees and houses become a blur. Each step felt light and effortless, like we were being carried by the wind. The answers I needed were finally here. It was Lucas that killed my father and not King Magnus. What heart did he have to kill a man and want to get married to the man's daughter whom he killed? He had plotted to keep my mother a hostage at the palace. I missed her. My mother. Now, he was here again, trying to take away the only inheritance I had, but I wouldn't let him. I didn't know what brought about the hate Lucas had for my family, but I wasn't going to let him ruin my family. My father died because he wasn't careful enough, and now my mother is kept as a hostage because she's being too careful. She didn't want to end up like my father 13 years ago. He went too far by putting his brother at risk, but people like Lucas didn't care about anyone except themselves. He's here. I jerked up from my imagination. It was truly him, Lucas on a horse. He's coming towards the direction of the park. We need to be fast or he'll overtake us. Our eyes met, and I could see the surprised shock on his face as he saw the three of us running like lightning, our legs not touching the ground. I smiled as I saw the look on his face. For a long time, Lucas had been a step ahead of me, always thinking he could have his way with me, but never. I wouldn't let that happen again. This time, I was 2 steps ahead of him. He was close to the village, but we were faster with the help of Orion. Their horses couldn't be compared to the force that drove us. Soon, Lucas was far behind me, and we were very close to the clan. "Lock the gate! Lock the gate!" I screamed as we passed through the wide-open gate with no struggles. "Lock the gate immediately. Do not waste time." She ordered the gatekeepers. "Make sure the warriors are ready." Diane shouted at no one in particular. Tensions were rising as everyone ran helter-skelter. "I'll hide the women and children," Laura said and ran off to do that. "I'll assemble the warriors and let them know what to do." Thorne ran off too, and I was left with Diane. "You need to be careful. Stay with the warriors. Remember that you're his target. If he gets you, then he gets us all." Disna told me, and I nodded, fully understanding my assignment, which was never to be caught. Shadowcrest clan was one of the smallest parks known, but we had our strengths too. We were known for our fierce warriors and strategic powers. If I was right, then Lucas would be coming with Ice-crest Pack warriors because he didn't own his own army yet. The Ice-crest Park warriors were fierce and commanding. I was afraid for Shadowcrest. Ever since I was a child, Lucas went to every war and came back successful. "Don't be scared. I don't want us to fight them." "What?" Diane gazed at me, eyes wide open in shock. "I know Lucas. He is very strong and will defeat us. He has never lost a battle ever since he became a warrior. I'm afraid of Shadowcrest." "Are you giving up?" Diane asked me. "No, I will never," I answered. I looked around for a moment and an idea struck me. Let's keep them out. Keeping them off won't stop them from attacking us next time. Then by that time, we'll be prepared. By that time, we'll have many more warriors than he'll have. I just want us to be prepared for him before we take him head-on. I explained to her. "Are you sure?" "Yes, I am," I nodded. "All right, what's the plan?" "Everyone gather around," I screamed, making sure no one couldn't hear me. "Come on, closer." They all came a little closer. "Everyone gather around." "There's a little change in plan," I explained to them. "We aren't going to fight them. That's exactly what they want us to do." "If we aren't fighting them, what are we doing then?" Someone in the crowd asked. "We are going to keep them off, but make sure they go home with injuries so that when they're nursing their injuries, we are preparing to come back to fight them properly." "Will this work?" "Isn't it better that we fight?" Someone else asked, and everyone agreed. "Listen to her, everyone. She's Alpha's daughter," Diane told them, and everyone gasped. "Please, everyone, this single man was the one who killed my father, and he's back her again, trying to repeat the same thing. He wants to take over this land and make all of us his slaves." I paused, trying to be faster with my words. "He's trying this for the 2nd time now, and he plans to destroy us all. I want us to be ready when he comes. No mistakes, no errors. We'll fight him head-on." I was done taking, but it seemed no one heard what I said because all I saw was blank expressions. I agree with her. Let's keep them off. Remember, we weren't prepared for them, so they'll definitely have an upper hand. A warrior spoke up. "Yes, I agree. At least after this, we live to fight another day." Another warrior agreed. Then all the people in the crowd nodded their heads in affirmation. "Is that fine?" I nodded, saying thank you to Diane with my eyes. "Let's all go up to the towers, summit the gate," I ordered, screaming at the top of my voice. "What's going on?" Laura appeared from nowhere. "Where have you been?" I asked her. "I was with the women and children. They are all afraid. I hear there is a change of plan?" "Yes, we are keeping them from entering the clan." "All right, I'll go back." "I need you here, Laura. I really hope this works." I took a deep breath. "Of course it will. It's a brilliant plan," Laura replied, holding my hands. "Let's get up to the tower. We'll have a good look from there." Laura urged me up. I saw Thorne calling and commanding the warriors. "I think he took the job too seriously," Laura said, and we laughed. "I know this isn't the time, but..." Laura stopped walking. "He likes you." I smiled at Laura. She could be unserious most times, and that's because she was trying to lighten my mood. "Kiss him," she blurted out, and I shut my eyes. I was literally shy on her behalf. "Don't talk too loudly. He could be anywhere." "Promise me, you will, after this fight." "I will," I said, tired of her whining. "Can we now go back to fighting our enemies before we get killed?" I say to her and drag her to the top of the tower. "They're approaching," Everyone get your arrow ready?" Thorne screamed. I could see how sweating he was and how handsome he looked, even though he was totally stressed. I closed my eyes and imagined that kiss that Laura talked about. It would be really nice if we could do it in the fields, at night under the beautiful moon. "What's wrong?" Laura asked me. "Are you not well? Why are you eyes shut?" "Oh, nothing." I laughed at myself at the fact that I was on a war front and all I could think about was kissing a man. That was pathetic of me. "Concentrate." I told myself this multiple times. I glanced at Thorne for the last time before having my eyes face front. I was determined and focused and nothing could stop us. "Make your voice louder," I said to Thorne, who nodded his head. "Do not come any further. If you want to go home alive, do not come any further." He kept saying, but the Ice-crest Park was stubborn. I knew that. I just like to warn them before we just shoot. "Prepare your armor, get your target, and shoot." Thorne organized them, and he was doing a good job. The arrow shot went straight to some of the warriors below. "Another one! Another one!" They kept going like this without stopping. I could still see Lucas still coming in full force. I could see his eyes literally burning like fire. That was the kind of man he was. Another one! Soon enough, the Ice-crest Park started shooting arrows at us too. "Protect yourself," Thorne called. "Is there nothing we can do to help the warriors? The enemies seem to be getting close." "Yes. What powers did Orion give to you?" "I don't know. You have to find out so we can use it." He told me. All right, I was practicing, opening and closing my hands. Suddenly, on the third try, balls of fire came out of my hands into the enemy's camp. "What?" He was as shocked as I was. "More." Thorne shouted to her. It was so easy for her. She kept throwing balls of fire at the Ice-crest warriors. Soon enough, Thorne joined them, and very quickly, the Ice-crest warriors started retreating. "Fire! Fire!" That was all the screams we heard. "Fire! Retreat!" "They're retreating," someone announced, and we all jumped up in joy. "This is beautiful. Thank you, Naomi." They all shouted in joy. Later that same day, in the evening, we had a little festival. I knew that this was still the beginning for us all. Lucas was already very pissed off, but he wouldn't do anything. His men were injured, and he'll never attack without his warriors. "You are a true leader just like your father. It's just in you." Diane complimented me, and I was so glad that a woman as strong and daring as Diane could say that I was a leader. "Thank you so much," I replied. We were all given meats to eat, and I was chewing mine when Laura entered. "How is the meat?" she asked me. "Sweet but tough to chew," I told her. "Is it?" Thorne asked, and I turned abruptly to him. "Yes, very," I responded. "Well, these ones I have here are softer. You can have them." He told me and I blushed, but I was glad Laura didn't see me or she'll tease me for the wild day. "What will you eat then?" I asked. "You don't have to worry," he said, taking my plates and giving me his. "You sure?" "Yes. Now enjoy." He gave me a smile before leaving. I watched him walk to the warrior's tent, demanding for another plate of meat. "You sure?" Laura mimicked me. "Just admit that you like him." Laura shoved me lightly. "Huh? You like him?" "Let me be." I laughed at her disturbances. "You know he came here to grab your attention since you've been ignoring him." "I haven't been ignoring him." I defended myself, but I knew that most times I avoided routes because I could see him there, or avoided talking to certain people because he was always either them. I really didn't know what this feeling was called. I knew if I asked Laura, she would tell me that it meant love, but it was more than just a feeling. "Talk to him." Laura shoved me again. "Do you want me to fall off this place?" I asked. "No, but please go talk to him. Go now." Laura was pleading. "He's staring at you." Laura smiled, but I refused to look. "He is pretending to look around, but he's intentionally has his eyes on you." "If I go talk to him, will you shut up?" "That'll be difficult, but yes, I will shut up for your love. Anything for you." Laura was a clown and could make anyone laugh. I stood up quietly as I approached the warrior's tent. I was just going to say hello to Thorne, ask how he was doing, then leave. I had to do this so Laura could shut up. "Hello." I got nervous and didn't know what to say. "I need more meat." Oh, he was kind of disappointed with what I said, but he still took my plate and offered to serve me the meat himself. "All right. I don't want meat." He stopped, staring at me with his big bubbling eyes. "I actually wanted to talk to you." Oh, the sparkle in his eyes returned. "You did? Do you want to go somewhere? I nodded in affirmation. We walked to the park since there was nowhere else to go. Thank you for today. I'm truly grateful. For what? He asked. For your help, of course. That's nothing. I helped like everyone else, he responded, smiling. Are you happy here? I stopped walking, facing him properly. Why do you ask? Do I look sad? Not really. I just feel like I'm being selfish by taking you away from your clan and bringing you here while you work for my interest. I love it here. He brought my chin to face him. I love it here. I'm not here because I was forced, but because I love it here. You should know that I'm not even the kind of person to do something I don't want because of someone else. You know? He smiled at me. It was true. Thorne could never be convinced to do what he didn't want to do. I believed him. You're the one ignoring me. Did I upset you? He asked, taking my hands. Oh God, was that kiss going to finally happen? Here? No, I'm not ignoring you, I told him. You don't like talking to me? Am I that boring? He asked. No, I'm so sorry if you feel like I'm ignoring you, but I'm not. I promise you. I stopped walking so he could look into my eyes and see that I meant what I said. Our eyes met and suddenly felt connected. The forest suddenly became quiet and dark, and all I could see was Thorne. My hands gently rests on his shoulders, feeling the rhythm of his heartbeat. Without a word, he cupped my face in his hands, his touch quite focused. I leaned closer to him, feeling the warmth of his body. Then in a rush of emotions, our body came together in a kiss. It was slow at first, but then progressed slowly. It was a feeling I had never felt before. For a fleeting moment, it seemed like the world outside us didn't exist anymore. It was just us against the world. When we pulled back to catch our breath, we stared long at each other before he pulled me in for another. This was overwhelming. When we pulled back again from each other, we smiled and turned to start walking towards the river, with Thorne still holding my hands. You were so brave today. He complimented me. I was? Then I guess I hid my emotions well, because I was at the verge of giving up. You were? Yes, I was so scared. When I thought of us keeping them away instead of fighting, I doubted if my plan would work. I was so anxious. This shows that you're a good leader, so you don't have to worry yourself. He responded and I smiled. We kept walking and walking without a destination in mind. I didn't want us trailing off to a far place. Currently, we had to be careful of Lucas. That man could wake up and decide he would kill 100 men today, and he'll do it. He knew the right words to use that would bring smiles to my face. Thank you. I gently squeezed his hand. You're welcome. He said, and finally realized that we were too far from the park. I think we should go back. We laughed and turned back. So what do you plan to do now? I put my hands on my mouth as I thought about that question. First, I want to join an alliance with a big pack that would help us bring the Ice-crest pack down. That's a great idea. Do you have any clan in mind? Stormclaw clan. What do you think? Well, it really depends on your closeness with the Alpha. Thorne said. Well, I talked to the Alpha about it recently, and he promised to help me. I hope he keeps to his word. The Alpha will help you. You have actually helped the clan by bringing in your healing ointment. I'm glad. We walked further, and then from where we stood, we could see the people of Shadowcrest dance happily. One of the wolves told me that it's been such a long time that they had felt this happy. It seems that wherever you go, you spread joy and happiness, he told me, causing me to blush. I really do hope so. When I was little, I thought I was bad luck. I blamed myself so much, thinking that I was the reason why my father died and the reason why my mother left the palace. I went down memory lane. We were now sitting at the root of an old big tree. I was glad the weather was cool, but it was becoming colder, and I didn't want to go in now. The fact that someone was actually listening to me gave me chills and made me want to spend more time with him. As a lot of my past has been opened up to me, I think I need to see my mum. You miss her? I do, but that isn't a major reason. I feel that Lucas could put her life in danger. Why would you think so? The Alpha wouldn't let that happen. Alpha King Magnus is a great king, but he would never stand up to his brother. Most times, I wonder if he was controlled by Lucas. Was it that bad? Thorne asked, and I knew he wouldn't understand. It was. He was the reason why I was exiled. He told Alpha King Magnus about the exile thing, thinking it would make me marry him, but he failed. I took a deep breath. Thinking about the past made me wonder where I really fit into the world. I caught Thorne staring at him when I glanced at him. "You're staring?" "Yeah, I'm sorry." He looked away with a blush on his face. "I think I'm so selfish. I have been talking, whining, and complaining about my past, family, and myself, and I don't know anything about you. How is that possible?" Thorne laughed. "You never asked me." "Well, my father died a warrior when I was much younger. My mother stays at the clan weaving baskets and selling them. Then there's my crazy sister." I laughed hard. I had always wanted to have older or younger siblings. They made life fun. At the palace, I had 3 sisters, not biological. Actually, I was the first and last child of my parents. "Not really. You are the first, second, third, fourth, and everything." Thorne was playing with me when I jerked him roughly and he fell. "I'm sorry." I told him to help him stand. "Are you okay?" "Yes, I am." He stood up. "I'm the first child, and so I'm older than my sister, but that girl's troublesome most times. I'd like to meet her. She'll be so courageous, like her brother." "You think I'm courageous?" It was a trick question he leaned in to ask me. "A little." I started. "A little?" He was stunned that I could degrade him like this. "With all this muscle and handsomeness." I laughed as he nursed his ego. "Just admit it." He watched me closely. "Are you cold?" I just nodded. "Don't worry, I'll be fine. Don't worry, when I go in, I'll put on some fire to warm my body." He wasn't even listening to me. He just pulled out his jacket and put it on me without wanting to hear from me. I opened my mouth to talk, but no words came. "Thank you," I quietly replied, staring at him, then looking away when he glanced at me. I remember that Laura asked me to tell him about him being my mate. "Thorne, I really don't know how to feel around you," I answered. He held my hands closely, looking into my eyes. "Treat me however you want to. I just want to help you, and that's what I'll do regardless." "I'm worried about Mascot, the snitch," he asked. "He isn't really a snitch. He was only deceived by Lucas. That man could do the unthinkable," I replied. "Why are you worrying about him?" "He didn't show up today, and my heart is killing me as I thought that maybe Lucas had killed him. That's not possible. Lucas needs Mascot. You know that. Maybe he was hidden somewhere. No one really knows what happened, but I'm sure that fool will show his only face soon, so don't worry." From where we sat, we could see the people of Shadowcrest perform their traditional dance. "Would you like to dance?" Thorne asked me. "I'm terrible at dancing." I laughed, but Thorne had already started dancing with his shoulders. "Come on, let's do this. You must remember 1 or 2 dance steps." He dragged me up, and for the first time in a very long time, I danced. I felt glad when we were done dancing. "That was one hectic dance move you should do there," he said as he took me home. I laughed, trying to figure out if he was teasing or mocking me. I wanted to let Thorne know that I might be leaving to Ice-crest to go home and bring back my mother here, but I needed to speak to Diane first about it. "And those balls of fire you blew. Amazing," I shouted. "You literally blew my mind today." I was honest to Thorne. "I'm so glad I was able to do it. Trust me, I want to do more than blowing your mind away," he said, and we burst out in laughter. "Whatever you mean by that." "I don't even know why I said that," he replied and said goodbye. "Goodbye." I stood on tiptoe to give him a peek on his cheeks. Later that night, when we had gone back to the clan, I wanted to speak to Laura, but I found out she had gone to sleep earlier. I knew she wanted so much to hear. I have to tell her. Going back to Ice-crest was going to be traumatic for me. That was the past I left behind. I didn't want to remind myself of any of that. It had been just 1 year. How could I go back and see me in this state? What would they say? Anyway, who cared what people had to say? All I knew was that I needed to find my mother. Now that Lucas knew that I could stand up to him, he'll try to find a way to make me weak, and he'll only do that if he gets access to my mother. He could kidnap her and ask me to give up so he wouldn't kill her, and if I'm captured, then Shadowcrest loses to Lucas again. But this time, the consequences will be more serious. I had already promised to protect my father's heritage because that was what it is. It was his heritage, and I wouldn't give it up again. I was still trying to make a discovery about myself, too. Orion had said different things about my powers, but I was still yet to discover a single one of it. Even Thorne and Laura threw balls of fire and were able to help today in the fight, while I stood and did nothing, even though I was supposed to be the leader. It is frustrating when everyone tells you how powerful you are or can be, but you don't even see it in yourself. Orion said I needed to meditate and believe, and it would happen. Was that all there is to it? To meditate and believe? All right, I said as I braced myself. I sat on the floor, took deep breaths, and then closed my eyes for a moment, then opened them again. What was I supposed to think about? Wolves fighting or a peaceful scene? I was getting frustrated, but I would never let that happen. I tried it one more time with my eyes closed, then I saw a scene. There, I saw a man now very familiar to me, Lucas, and another whom I couldn't see his face. They discussed in low tones, but I could hear them. I couldn't see myself, but I knew I was standing there, but they couldn't see me. I couldn't believe she could do that. Lucas was saying, "We have never been defeated in our history. This is the first time, and it was Naomi that did that. What power does that girl actually have?" I know her well. She's actually destined to be the alpha of Shadowcrest, and because of her, that clan would become great because of her, greater than us too. Oh, this is really bad for us. Yes, it is. That's why we have to act fast. What do we do? The strange man asked. We'll have to trap her, and I know the perfect way to do that. She'll pay for this embarrassment. Lucas looked very angry. What should we do? Let's. I opened my eyes instantly. I was distracted by the sound a rat was making in the dustbin. I was excited that I had finally reached one of the gifts Orion said I had. It really worked. All I needed to do was meditate, believe, and stay in a serene environment. I was about to hear what Lucas had to say, but was distracted. He looked really upset as he spoke to the other man whom I couldn't see his face. Was that Mascot? Where did Lucas keep Mascot? I wondered. I went to sleep immediately so I could have a good night for tomorrow. The next day, Laura was the one who woke me up from sleep. She was here so we could talk about Thorne and how everything went yesterday. Wake up, sleepyhead. Wake up. She shoved me slowly. What do you want? I said with sleepy eyes. Talk to me. It's morning already. She goes straight to the curtains and slams them open. No, no, I cried, turning to the other side. Let me sleep more. No, sit up right now. She screamed at my face. Please, just for 5 minutes. I begged her, but she didn't want to hear me out. Why can't I just sleep well? I grumbled as I stood up from the bed. Tell me. She jumped, urging me out of bed. That can wait. I suddenly got excited. Guess what happened to me last here, right here? What happened? She got quite interested. I found one of my gifts, I told her excitedly. We have been waiting so long for this. There were times we had discussed having powers and using them for our selfish reasons. Funny how we dreamt about having powers and now we had. You did? What is it? I can see visions, I answered, not sure if that was what it should be called. Visions? Seriously? What did you see? Lucas and someone that I couldn't see his face. They were plotting, but I couldn't hear everything they were saying. I replied, thinking deeply so I could find out what it was that Lucas might want to do to punish me. What do you think he's planning? I have no idea, but the oi thing that comes to mind is my mother. Your mother? Is she not in Ice-crest Park? She gasped when she realized what I was trying to say. Do you think he'll try to hurt her? She asked me, fear in her eyes. I don't know. I just have to keep her safe.